Hey there everybody, we're moving into episode 51 and I am just coming back with a bunch of stone in my inventory because I just went around manually with the bots in my inventory trying to farm up as many rocks nearby that could give me some more tungsten ore, which is something we need for more foundry production. And you'll see why that's a problem because in between episodes I was hoping to get all of the foundries placed that we blueprinted last time. Obviously that hasn't happened, these are still just ghosts. And the reason why tungsten ore is especially important is because it goes into foundry production. So we also need to get the bigger mining drills up and running because that is what will allow us to automatically do tungsten ore farming instead of me going out basically by hand doing that instead. The other problem we need to fix is this cloggage issue. So I no longer have any molten iron, and that's because this stone output is not moving anywhere. And I've been trying to get stone going into stone brick production, going into concrete and things like that, and I've been placing concrete where I can, but we're just not using enough of it. So first thing I want to do is see if we can end up recycling the stone ore. And of course that's something that we do on Fulgora. I'm not sure if that's something that we can do on other planets, but we're going to put it to the test. Let's grab a recycler. I am going to just have it feed directly back onto the stone line because stone doesn't break down into anything else. So we'll grab also a splitter so we can make room for an inserter to go like this. Okay, so apparently you can recycle on this planet. Obviously no smarts on this, but the good thing is that it will keep the stone ore just constantly running, which should open up the capability to get more molten iron here as soon as we clear up this line a little bit more. So that's two problems solved off the bat. Next thing we need to solve is going to be cracking. The reason why we need some cracking is because in order to get red circuits, we're going to need plastic. Plastic, of course, comes from petroleum and coal, I think. Let's double check that. Yep, petroleum and coal. So we are going to need to crack the heavy oil into light oil that will then go into petroleum that will then go into plastic. That is a big mouthful, and keep in mind, I never know the correct ratios when it comes to this type of thing, nor am I going to learn them now. But let's just plop down a chemical plant and see what we can do. This becomes heavy oil cracking to light. We will need water. My nearest water is, okay, over here. I guess this was feeding into my original foundries that I had in this area. So I could just bring the water from those pipelines. Let me do that real quick. We'll delete those. Normal pipe there. And then I will just plug in pipes for the heavy oil, I guess just like this. And then we can add multiples of these down the line if needed, like so. I will grab another tank, just so I avoid any tight spaces with my pipes. I will put the output tank, oh, let's see, should I just do it right there? No, because I need to leave room. We're going to put it right there. Learn from my past mistakes. We'll do that, and then I'm just going to do a normal pipe there in case we want to add more pipes and more of these chemical plants for even more cracking, which I'm sure we will. Let's give it power, like that. Something's getting attacked back at main planet. All right, we now have light oil. Let's add more of these now. In fact, let's copy everything. Should we start with 4? Again, I wish I knew the ratios. Oh, bummer. We don't have enough room for how the pipes are laid out. Okay. Well, we will have to move these down. Let's try like that. And make room for the pipes. There we go. And then output, like I was mentioning, for the light oil there. We can do power in between. Add in the heavy oil pipes. There we go. All 4 are now up and running, making very slowly some light oil, which we can now convert into some petroleum with further cracking. Let's do the petroleum, let's see, further away. We'll do another 4 or so. We'll do light. We also need water for this. So let's convert this pipe to a normal pipe. And let's kind of do the same thing that we have over with the heavy cracking. Like that. We'll do this for the light oil. Whoops, crap. There we go. Accidentally mixed that. And then connect up the light oil over here. Whoops, over here somewhere. There we go. Let's give it all power. And then add in the pipes. Perfect. Now we need the outputs. We'll do that there. Need another tank. We'll put the petroleum tank right here. Seems good. Okay, we technically now have a very small amount of petroleum. I don't have any smarts on these whatsoever. We're bound to probably get some clogging or overproduction of one and not enough of the other. But for now, I'm just going to leave it, let it run, and then we will hook the petroleum into outputs to go into some plastic. So we, of course, need more chemical plants for the plastic. Let's see, I've got 10 on me. Okay. Since this is actually going to need coal, I wonder if I should just feed it from this line. Not a bad idea. Although, I don't want to risk running out of room. We could just have the coal continue down this way. Here's what I'm thinking instead. Let's delete this solar power thingy, which is probably giving a negligible amount of power. Oh, apparently that's what was running that. Let's hook this in back into power there. And then we'll do plastic production over here and we'll access the coal from these lines. So let's continue this on if needed. Chemical plants for plastic. We'll do that. I think we'll still reach. Yep. Put in the plastic recipe. Petroleum will come from the bottom. Should be able to fit underground pipes just going in this direction there. Now let's finish wrapping up these pipes. There we go. And then we need an output line, which is, where am I going to fit that? I could fit it just here. Okay. Let's try that. Per usual, I haven't given myself hardly any room. But we'll do a couple of these. And I really wish I had more productivity modules, but we'll put as many as I can in there. And then hopefully I have enough room for outputs. Might have to move some of these pipes for the sulfuric acid, actually. That will work. There we go, that will work. Like that. And that should work. Okay. Connecting the pipes at the bottom. Give it power. And we now technically have plastic. Not a lot of it, but it's something. And then that very minuscule amount of plastic can go into a very minuscule amount of red circuits. We will want plastic to go on its own line, so let's start thinking about where that is going to go. We can move this perhaps and just route it through this way. And this will get routed over too. And I imagine once I can get more production of this, we'll end up wanting to move it, figure out a more permanent home for it to get routed onto the bus. I think we'll put it here. Like that. Then we can do maybe green and red circuits just below that. Cool, we now have cracking done, plastic done, ratios suck, but a little bit is better than nothing. Next thing, let's see if we can finish up the foundries so that we can get some foundries producing copper cable. And why I want foundries to produce copper cable, well, for one, I have the capability to do it with foundries via this recipe here. But for two, since we can use the foundries for it anyway, we might as well do it to have it go into its own line. And we'll use copper cable just to go directly into a main bus, basically, for green and red circuits. And I'm not sure if we'll need one lane or two, but we'll start with the one. So let me copy one of these foundry thingies. Then we'll put down a recipe for the copper cable. There we go. Copy that to all of them. And this does not take any copper plate, it looks like. It just takes the molten copper, so I can just copy that directly from those pipes there. Cool. So output for copper cable, I think we may just actually skip putting it onto the main bus altogether now that I'm thinking of it, and just have it go straight into a green circuit build. So what we could do, assuming this is the copper cable line right here, we'll grab some assemblers like this. I'm not even sure if we have to worry about ratios, honestly. We will also branch off the, iron plate. Like that. And then it just feels so unnatural to do this. Then we'll do an output just like this for green circuits like that. And then obviously we can mirror this, but that will be green circuits. We'll give it power. A substation would be nice. Maybe let's try that if I can, which I think I can. Okay. Substation, and then connect it up to power here as well. Now I just have to copy in these recipes here, like so. Add in another substation right there. Ought to do it. And that makes a couple of these poles superfluous. So we'll get rid of those and recycle them for something else. We will worry about mirroring that later. Then we can, if we're getting enough copper cable, we could maybe split this off to go into red circuit production, or depending on how much is produced, we can make another version of these to go just straight into red circuits. But for now, let me see if there's anything else we can do to speed up the foundry production, or we can see about recycling some of the current foundries to go into our new factories. So it looks like the main bottleneck right now is the green circuits. How come? That's because of lack of iron plate. Lack of iron plate? Oh. Well, that's not really helping with the recycler situation, is it? I thought I fixed the situation, but I failed to remember that we actually need this to keep moving. What to do? So we probably need to put this at the end. So let's loop the stone, I guess. We'll loop stone somehow. Add in some really gross spaghetti. We'll beautify this one day. That doesn't solve my problem either. Okay, let's re-add in that recycler. we'll put it, I guess we can put it back where it was. Put it back where it was. Now that it's looping on itself, put back an inserter. And then let's kickstart things by putting down some more concrete so that some of the stone ore gets used. All right, concrete placed. Things are moving again. We can see the iron plate coming in, which is good. So with more iron plate, we'll eventually get some more green circuits. Currently, this is the best I've got for my build. It's just calling in some iron plate from the bots, which feed onto here since I don't have this really up and running anymore, and we'll eventually delete this anyway. What is going on with the fluids, though? Things are kind of stalled. Really lack of heavy oil now. And lack of heavy oil, it looks like I really just have to massively increase production of the simple coal liquefaction. Okay, we'll add that to the to-do list too. Can I add more of these? Let's see. I didn't leave myself much room. This is basically what I've got. Okay. Oh, and then that's, dang it. Not good. Okay. Crap. I'm going to delete this petroleum line real quick. We'll plop that there. Except that we are no longer going to use these portions of the copper plate smelting here. Continue this line for the calcite, like that. Let's see if we can move the lubricant down a little bit. Move that down. There we go. Add in that to join it up. Okay. That's better than what I had. We need power over here, though. And power to the rubber port. And then we need to rejoin up the petroleum that I had. So I'm going to just extend it over here to avoid any fluid mixing. It's ugly, but the problem's solved. So much better now on the heavy oil production via the coal liquefaction. Let me fix this real quick. Okay. Fixed. I wish I had more modules to put in there. Looks like we just may have a fluid problem for a while of just not having enough. But it is at least better than what we started with this episode on. So things are moving again. How's iron now and green circuits? Iron better, green circuits better here. Still not able to finish the foundries though. Well, in the meantime, let's start figuring out how we are going to mirror this. Which, let's just do the H trick. Actually, that won't work, will it? No, let's put, because we need to change inputs and outputs. Okay, so I wonder if we need to get rid of this substation after all. We might. Okay. Crap. So, and it looks like I'm out of assemblers. Gosh, I'm kind of in dire straits here. Do I have anything I can send? I do. I have that. That's probably not worth bringing down. I do have productivity modules though. Yay. Okay, good. I'm gonna grab those. So how will this work if I'm borrowing iron plate there now, and then now we output like that? Okay. So that's essentially how it's going to be mirrored. We will have to see how to fit in some power. Which means I think a substation is going to go on the outside edges. Which means I think we have to move everything over by a tile or so. But no, we can solve it by putting underground belts right there. And right here. So that will provide power to the left side of the factory. we'll do something similar on the right-hand side. Let's see. We'll split off another line for the copper cable, because I'm assuming this will produce enough copper cable to be able to at least supply one green circuit factory. So we'll do that for that side, carry this on to the other side, like that. And if we have even more throughput of the materials, we can expand this upward if able. Let's delete those power poles now since we don't need them. We will put this right there, actually. Okay. So we'll now copy this. Add in another substation. And I'm going to make a couple more assemblers by hand. Well, I was really hoping we were going to be getting red circuits by the end of today's episode, but it doesn't look like that's just how it's going to be. So you have that to look forward to for next episode, where we most definitely will be able to get red circuits. In the meantime, off screen, I'm going to just wait for the foundries to kind of build up and finish filling in. Then we'll be able to see the green circuits running as well. So I hope you guys will continue to stick around, and I'll see you for episode 52 very soon. First copper cable's getting made. First green circuits on Vulcanus.